Hello guys, welcome to the channel. In this video, we will see what are Docker volumes and why we need Docker volumes. And also we see how we can use Docker volumes with the containers. So let's get started. So first let's see why we need Docker volumes. So let's check the images. And here for example, currently you are working on a project and now you are working with this Nginx 1.25 image, okay? And you have made all the changes and all the configurations to this container. And now suppose your client needs some changes. Your client wants you to change this Nginx version to the 1.1. Now you have to pull the Nginx 1.1 image from the repo. So when you create a container from 1.1 version's image, you will get a fresh new installation. And now you have to reconfigure this new 1.1 container with the same old changes. And you have to make all the configurations again. So this will increase your efforts. So to solve this, Docker volumes are there. So what are Docker volumes? With Docker volumes, we can manage and persist data separately from containers. Docker volumes provides a way to share and store data between containers as well as between host machines and containers. So in Docker, by default, data persists at container level. And if you remove a container, its data will also get deleted. With Docker volumes, we can manage and persist data separately from the containers. So I hope you understand why we need Docker volumes within our environment. There are basically four types of volumes: named, anonymous, bind mount, and temp fs. So first let's see where are the volumes actually. Uh, so to list all the volumes, there is a command docker volume ls. So you can see here it is the driver local and the volume name is here. There is currently one volume here in our system. So now first let's create a container from an image. Docker images. And here we use this MySQL image. So Docker run -t -c and MySQL hello empty password equal to true, and here mention the image name. So all right. So now you can see our container is now running. Docker ps, and here is our container running. And now again let's check the Docker volumes. Now here enter the command docker volume ls, and here you can see a volume is automatically gets created while the creation of a container. So this automatically created volume is also known as anonymous volumes. So anonymous volumes are created automatically by Docker. They are typically used for temporary or disposable storage, or also they are used for caching or when you don't need to manage volumes explicitly. So these are basically temporary volumes which are automatically gets created while the creation of a container. So now let's see what are named volumes. So named volumes are explicitly created and given a user-friendly name. They are independent of container lifecycles and can be shared among multiple containers. So named volumes are used to share data between containers and persisting data across container restarts. And they also make data management more organized. So let's see how we can create a named volume. So to create a volume, there is a command docker volume create, and here you have to mention the name for your volume, like example volume, and hit enter. Now the volume is created. Now let's try docker volume ls. So here you can see our volume is now created. Now we can assign this volume to any of the container, and the data of the container will be stored in this volume, and we can share the data among many containers. So let's try this with an example. So first let's create a container. Here let's give a name to this container, like MySQL 1. We can use -v option here to attach volume to this container. We have to mention here the name of our volume, uh, and after that we have to mention path where we want to attach this volume. So before running this command, let me show you the path of the MySQL. Now here first let me show you the mount path for the MySQL container. So now you can see here it is a MySQL container. Now if we inspect into this container, and here you can see here is a volumes option, volumes, and here is the mount path for this MySQL image. So we have to mount the volume we have created to this path, where lib MySQL. So let's see. Now here let's again try to create a container. Docker run -t and give a name, and here the environment variable, and here mention the image name, and here we have to mount the volume with this container. So for that we have to use -v for mount volume, and here we have to mention the name of our volume, that is exp volume, exp volume, and a colon, and here we have to mention the path which we have seen before, that is, let me show you again. That is this path volumes. We have to copy this path and here paste, and here you can see the command docker run minus in detach mode, and here we have given the name to this container, and here we have mentioned the volume to this path mapped with this path, and here the environment variable, and here the image name. So enter. Here you can see our container is now created. So docker ps. So now there are two containers now running. So now let's try to bash into this container. So here, let's try the MySQL command, and so here by default there are basically four databases. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two more databases here in this container. So let's create it. Create database hello, and create database world. So again, if we try show databases, so here you can see our databases are now gets created. So the databases we just created are now stored to the volume which we have created earlier. that is exp volume. So now I'm going to delete this MySQL container. Now simply exit from it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this container MySQL 1, and I'm going to create a new container from the image, and I will attach the volume we have created exp volume with that new container, and we will see the data we have just created here, the two databases we have created still available there or not. So let's see. So to remove the container, you know the command. So now I'm going to create a new container from the image. So first let's clear the screen. Now you can see here I don't have the previous container, and docker volume ls. You can see here our volume is still now available here, and docker images. So here I'm going to create a new container from this MySQL image. Docker run minus t minus name MySQL 2, and here minus v for volume, and here I'll give this name and map it to the where lib MySQL of this new container, and here, the image name. Now everything is right. Now click OK. Now you can see our new container is now created. So now let's again bash into this container. So now we're going to check our databases. Show databases. So you can see our databases are available there. Hello and world. So our data was stored in the volume, and we have attached the volume into this new container. Now I can create two or more MySQL containers, and I can attach this same exp volume with all of them. So in this way, you can use volumes to persist data of the containers, and even you can share the data between multiple containers. So that's it for this video. In next video, we will talk about the bind mount or the temp fs types. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.